What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. I'm once again joined by Tyler, and we are back for another Avengers Infinity War video, talking about Avengers Infinity War as well as Avengers 4. This is going to be heavily spoiler-filled, so if you have not yet seen Infinity War, just like our past videos and even our future videos, please do not watch this video. We're going to be discussing spoiler aspects of Avengers Infinity War, so make sure that you've seen the movie before doing this. So we're going to be talking about, in this video, characters that are not going to return at all, characters that are permanently dead from Avengers Infinity War to Avengers 4. Obviously, we lost a lot of people, especially at the end, but we do believe most of them, if not all of them, are going to be coming back. We're going to talk about that towards the end of this video. We want to talk about just a handful of characters that no matter what, we believe, Tyler and I, that they are not coming back. So, Tyler, who's the characters, and we'll go from there.
So, who's not coming back is, I always say his name wrong. Heimlich Manute, that character. He died, he gets stabbed in the chest by, I believe it was Corvus Glaive. He most definitely won't return because I think the Thor movies are going to start to get a little bit different. Now Thor with his new weapon, the Stormbreaker, he himself can do the, access the Bifrost and all that stuff. So there's really no use for his character anymore. So he's definitely permanently dead. Loki, he's definitely permanently dead. You can't bring the same character. You can't keep bringing him back. You need some kind of, drive and all that stuff for Thor. And I think it just, although I liked the relationship that they had in Ragnarok a lot, I feel like we actually are going to get a Thor movie where we actually have Thor, Rocket, and Groot. Like, it would almost be like Thor and the Adventures of Rocket and Groot. Like, I actually feel like these are the movies that we're going to start to get, especially after Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, because they said after that, the team's going to basically be almost a completely different team. So it kind of makes sense to give Thor, like, Rocket and Groot and that kind of stuff, because they actually worked really well together in this movie. So, getting rid of Loki gives good reason, it gives good motivation for Thor, especially in the next movie. And it just makes sense because, again, like, he was the first Avengers villain. He was one of those original villains, and it just makes sense. Even though, he had a character arc, it kind of is fulfilled in the end because he was working for Thanos, and then, he slowly starts to realize that his father actually did care about him. His brother really cares about him, and then maybe he was, wrong. So then by the end of, like, Ragnarok and all, and in the beginning of this movie, which is literally the end of Ragnarok, like, the line that he says, like, I, Loki, what does he say, like, Odin's son or something like that? Like, he basically declares that, like, even though the first sentence that he said, he's like, first of all, I'm not an Asgardian. Then he kind of changes his tune, and he's like, no, you know what? I'm Loki, Odin's son, and he looks at Thor, and then he goes to try to kill Thanos. So he kind of does complete his thing where he does try to do the right thing. So I think it makes sense for him to kind of be done with the Marvel Universe. And then we are left basically with two other, one's a character, one's a group. Gamora, who Alex and I, we totally called on Podcast Now in the Community Series. I think she's definitely permanently dead, not just because of what took place. Her sole job was to try to kill Thanos, and obviously he wasn't killed in Infinity War, and I'm not even so sure that he'll be killed in Avengers 4. I think there's some stuff that will happen in that movie. But basically, once Thanos is done from the Marvel Universe, after Avengers 4, she has no purpose other than being with Star-Lord. So I think she's permanently dead. And then the Black Order, Children of Thanos, those are just kind of like enemies to fight while Thanos is doing his stuff, his journey. So there's no reason to bring them back. So they're definitely permanently dead too.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that once the movie kind of ended, the general opinion, at least from my friend circle when we left, and then also when I was talking to Tyler, is basically anybody before the wipeout of the end of the movie, they're pretty much they're dead. They're actually permanently dead. I feel like Loki I definitely feel like that they should all stay dead, and that'd be the most impactful and all that stuff. So I wouldn't disagree with any of those. Although Loki, I just have like a weird feeling that he would be back, but I wouldn't even necessarily want it, and I wouldn't bet money on the fact that he'd be back. I just have like a suspicion on it. But second half of this video, really towards the end here, I want to talk quickly. I want to ask Tyler, those people permanently dead. We lost a lot of characters, half, maybe more than half, at the end of Avengers Infinity War, obviously, when Thanos snapped his fingers. So we believe, right, that they are going to be coming back in Avengers 4 in one way or the other?
Yes. I believe that everybody who I just did not list, everybody who turns to ash, I should say, I believe that they will all be back. 100% they will all be back. Because it just will, and because I say so. But no, actually, how I know that, and if you're wondering, like, well, what about Vision? We're going to have a video on that. He's not permanently dead. The actor Sebastian Stan, who plays Bucky, said that in Avengers 4, there's a scene where they're all lined up all together. Now, obviously, that means Gamora wouldn't be lined up together with everybody else, but sometimes when you don't work with those people, you don't really think of them as all, because he's been in Civil War now, so he's pretty much worked with the main Marvel group, other than the Guardians of the Galaxy. So it makes sense that he would call that like all of us standing together, including Brie Larson. So him saying that kind of tells me that everybody's coming back. But the obvious stuff is there's going to be Spider-Man sequels. There's going to be Doctor Strange sequels. There's going to be, other, like Black Panther. There's going to be more. So we know that they're not dead. And they're not going to selectively choose, like, you can come back from the ash and you can come back from the ash. It's almost like Oprah. Like, bees! Like, it's like that. Like, you win a car and you win a car and you win a car, but you don't. Like, they can't do that. Like, they can't say, like, okay, Sam, you know what? You're going to stay Ash, but you can come back. That's not going to happen. So anybody that turned to Ash, they'll all be back. How? Well, I guess we'll see. I brought up the theory in how it will be Tony Stark that ends up beating Thanos in some way. I said that, well, it's possible that maybe they come up with their own Infinity Stones. I don't know. We'll have to see. That would be pretty cool if that's what it was. I don't know. But nonetheless, anybody who turned to Ash, all of your favorite heroes, they will all be back. And if they're not, I will personally take out Alex himself. I will fly down there and I will take out Alex and I will turn him to Ash and we'll see if he'll maybe return. And then, that's what I'm willing. That's what I'm putting on the table. I don't know what Alex is putting on the table.
Well, I very much agree with all of that. I think for one, that's a bet that I will take, and two, I do believe that everybody that turned to Ash at the end will come back. Interesting choices for sure. I like how they picked people that Tyler and I had predicted. We did a video of who's safe and who's not safe leading up to this movie. And, we had a slightly different list, mainly just Scarlet Witch. But I liked how they placed some very key characters as the ones to get taken away, and also lesser characters. The only opinion I have, the only thing I kind of want to talk about just right now, is I think that does make it pretty obvious, just personally for me, that they would all come back. Exactly what Tyler was just saying. You can't selectively choose oh yeah, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, Black Panther, because they're all going to get sequels, right? So you can't just pick those three, but then Drax, Mantis, Scarlet Witch, Star-Lord. Oh, Star-Lord, you can come back because you have a movie. You can't pick the most important. I feel like they would all have to come back, and whether or not they die again, whether or not they're back physically, completely, and they all go and run up to Thanos and fight him, and then he kills a couple of them, and they permanently stay dead. That could very well happen. I think that will happen because I don't think there's going to be no deaths in Avengers 4. But it is cool that they picked some very important characters, but also some characters that we thought would die, but also characters that we thought were relatively safe overall. So that's just our opinions on this. Let us know in the comments below. Who do you think is permanently dead going into Avengers 4? Who do you think will return in Avengers 4? We're not done with our Avengers content. We're going to have more videos throughout this upcoming week talking about Avengers Infinity War, talking about specific characters, talking about how it connects to Avengers 4, and ultimately talking a little bit about Avengers 4 in general. So thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you for tomorrow's video.